But you've also gotten in a few theological skirmishes and firefights over the years.
I have.
What would you say are the big battles you've sort of inserted yourself, written on, spoken on, taken a position on over the years?
Yeah, because I have tried pretty hard to be, not to make my whole ministry skirmishing.
Yeah, you've done a good job of not defining yourself by what you're against
all the time.
but by what you're for.
Correct.
And making some clarifications
That's right.
as needed.
And because of that, I don't think I have faced the kind of antagonism that some guys have faced whose entire ministry is defined in terms of what they're correcting all the time. Nevertheless, God's sovereignty and human responsibility has shown up in some of my books here and there, and that's got me in skirmishes with a variety of people. The openness of God theology got me into several severe skirmishes. Versions and translation, some theory that goes behind it's got me into some skirmishes. Women's issues of one sort or another have got me into some skirmishes. Sometimes just the very nature of the gospel itself and how you go about defending it and articulating it, its comprehensiveness, and but that one is so close to what I'm doing all the time that I don't know if it's skirmish or not, you know.
Yeah.
But what happens in some circles? There's some circles, academic or otherwise, where the skirmishing is part of the, I don't know if it's fun, but it's part of the game. It's part of the way you play it.
Yeah.
But with some debates, I don't even know if debates is the right word. In interactions with many in the emerging camp, my increasing perception is that many of the people in the emerging camp, now I know there are different branches of the emerging camp, but
Sure.
many of them don't read anything by anybody outside the people in the emerging camp.
Yeah.
So they all know pretty certainly that they hate me. But
This
not
is where-
many of them have actually read what I've written.
Yeah, this is where I was going. I mean, as well with justification and N.T. Wright
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time on that one.
and the emerging church issue. The perception, I think, with some younger pastors and leaders who, who've only caught bits and pieces of internet blundering, I would say, is that you're an academician, not a pastor. You're a theoretician, not a practitioner. That you're an educator, not an evangelist, and that you don't do relationship and community. That you're sort of a cold, distant person who does better with books than human beings. And the reason I started the whole interview with some of your background and history and story is I know you, and I know that much of what is caricatured of you is just completely fallacious. It's just wrong. For some of those skirmishes you do get into, I guess it's important for me to ask, why? What's the motivation behind it?
Well, it's depended which one. In the
Yeah.
case of the justification stuff, it was just getting more and more and more serious. A lot of popular stuff had been written, but then two or three of us put together the two big books, Justification and Variegated Nomism, which are scholarly tomes that most people shouldn't read.
Yeah, I've got them. They're big.
But on the other hand, the aim was to try to build a foundation that would help anchor some things that others could read and not be too threatened by some of the voices from the other side. And in God's providence, a lot of other books came out at about the same time. And academically, the corner's been turned on that one, although a lot of seminaries haven't figured that out yet. Whereas something like the emerging church, I wasn't planning on saying or doing anything on that one. But I was getting more and more phone calls from pastors saying, what do I do about this? Or my youth guy is now saying this, and what do I do about this? And there was nothing out there at the time. There was just about nothing out there from a respectful side that nevertheless tried to analyze things biblically or theologically. There just wasn't anything there. And I was supposed to give the Staley lectures at a Christian institution on a completely different topic. And they wrote me 3 months before I went and said, would you mind doing it on the emerging church? Okay. So I tried to do some homework and gave 3 lectures. Well, it set off such a firestorm in the place that within 48 hours, one of the guys there had written something 3 times as long as my lectures trying to refute me. And I thought, okay, I guess I better write a book. So I wrote the book, Becoming Conversant with the Emerging Church. And that was a firestorm. You wouldn't believe some of the hate mail I got from that one.
For people that are loving, tolerant, diverse.
Oh, yes.
They do community and conversation.
Yeah,
that's
unbelievable.
Dialogue, not monologue, and they were just talking to you in a negative way?
Whereas I tried very hard in the book, and I put it through 2 or 3 editors, to make sure that there was absolutely nothing in the book that was malicious or condescending, or it tried to make strong theological points. But I tried to avoid ad hominem arguments. What can I say? if I were to leave Trinity for any reason to go somewhere else, it would almost certainly not be to go back to a university post. I've had those offered to me, or to another seminary. Why do I want to go from one seminary to another? Would it be to go back to pastoral ministry? And the highlight in my week at the seminary is my small group. We have students in our home all the time. And
how many evangelistic messages do you preach in a year? I know you do a lot of evangelism. I think that's a part of your ministry that a lot of people are just unaware of.
Yeah, I'm probably doing a few, several fewer now than I used to. But I used to aim to do a couple of university missions a year. And for one reason or another, that's been reduced. If I get one in every 18 months, I'm grateful. And then some churches you go to, because they're that kind of church, you make sure that there's a huge evangelistic emphasis. And, well, that's what's going to happen here, God willing, tomorrow morning. Yeah. Because it's the kind of church it is, you're going to have a lot of unbelievers present, so you have to bear them in mind. Yeah. And I believe strongly that all of us are supposed to be doing evangelism. I don't claim to be a great evangelist. To be honest, you know what I am? I'm a jack of all trades. I'm not really good at anything, but I can do a lot of stuff. That's what the Lord has made.
Well, how about this one, and then I'll end with my final question. Those who would criticize you and say, well, he doesn't understand because we're doing missiology and he doesn't understand, cultural contextualization. I mean, I know you well enough. I hear that all the time. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
I've probably lived and worked in more cultures than most of these people who are criticizing me. What can I say?
Yeah, how many, you have no idea how many nations you've been in.
No, scores.
Scores. I mean, dozens and dozens. Mm-hmm. Preached, taught, served pastors, ministered, travel. Yeah, the cross-cultural piece, you've seen more of the world than anybody personally I've ever met, to be honest with you.
And sometimes, some of that stuff has come out in my book, Christ and Culture Revisited, trying to think things through. They are tricky bits. They're very tricky bits. And I'm not trying to justify them. One of the reasons why I don't usually defend myself from those things is the Lord's going to sort it all out at the end, and God knows I've made my mistakes in judgment on this or that. I really don't want to spend any time justifying everything I've said or done, or I just don't want to do that. No, but on the other hand, I'm probably not quite as isolated as some people think.